Hi everybody, excuse the angle and the glare on my glasses. It's almost too hot to wear the glasses. But this is just an old door. We're building a new house. Anyways, I'm in my bathroom. I'm gonna show you a video. Back you up a little bit so you can see. Alright, so just ignore that. We are building a new house, so anyways, I'm going to show you how we store our medical supplies. Oh, it's so hot and humid. Is it hot and humid where you're at? If you don't have AC, what do you do? So yeah, I have a big box in front of me that is so huge I couldn't even fit it in the camera. It's like bigger than me. And then I also have this box. I got this container at Target. Scoot you over a little bit. This is the Brighton 3-drawer cart. Casters for mobility. I don't know why they call it casters, but it has wheels. So we are I went through a lot of different ideas on what to go with, but I went with this because the drawers are large but not too large. And it fits probably fits just enough stuff to not be overwhelming. And this was like $15 at Target. There was a few different colors. There was this gray color, there was purple, there was black, there was clear, there's a couple of different. My kid picked out this color since this is for his medical supplies. He's 6 years old, turned 6 in March. And I got the clear drawers because then he can easily see what's inside. And we don't have to label the drawers, so that way he can learn about his healthcare and easily take out his own supplies. And I like this because it's large enough, but as side profile, you can see here's my hands. It's not that wide. Let me put my hands like this. It's this wide. This wide. Let me turn so you can see. Excuse my ugly door. This house is older than me. Door is this wide. Can't even get in the camera, but basically that wide. So it should fit all the stuff. And we are going to, excuse me, I'm grabbing this giant box. So we're going to organize it today. I'm going to tell you about storage and talk about the medical supplies. So my kid has a disability. With his bowel function, he has hypotonia and lack of pelvic floor feeling. So we are working on a resolution to that. So in the meantime, we have medical supplies. So we'll always have medical supplies, but you know, this, I'm gonna put it right here so you guys can see the first thing in the box. I wish I had an easier way to put this box because this box is so huge. Medical supplies, man. There's so much waste. This giant box. All right, so I'm gonna just pull something out of the box. Paperwork, which this is garbage paperwork. First thing out of this box is catheters. So, no, excuse me, this is an IV bag. Actually, I call it an IV bag, but it's really the same bags that they use for G-tube, feeding tubes. It's the exact same bag. So this is what we use. This is called a enteral feeding gravity set small bore, 1200 ml. So we connect. This is basically just an IV bag or a feeding tube bag. We put our solution in here and connect it to a catheter. So I'm going to put those here. This will be catheters. And we don't need to label them because you can easily see from any side that there's catheters at the top of this thing. So next thing in here is syringes. So the syringes, so these are falling apart, but the syringes come connected to each other, and we get a bunch more syringes than this. More are coming in the mail, but they are 50 mils. And eventually, do I have a syringe here to show you? Yeah, I do. No, I don't. I threw it away. But eventually, the syringes, the numbers on them wipe off, especially because we're using glycerin and it's like oily feeling, and these wipe off, so they give you measurements. And I use these for measuring the amount of solution based on the colorectal surgeon gave us a very specific recipe. So to measure it out, I use these, and that's the only thing I use them for. So I'm going to put syringes in this second drawer, which leads me to this. Here's the wheels. You could put wheels on it to move it around, but we're just putting it in the corner of our bathroom and not going to be moving it around. Especially we don't want wheels on it right now because our house leans. So we don't, even though there's off, we don't want the risk of it leaning down the hill of our house. Not because of the wheels, but our house is leaning. We are building a new house. It's a whole long story. So anyways, the second drawer is going to be syringes. Excuse me if I'm boring you, but so this comes to my next point. This is the catheter and the IV tube feeding bag that we are using currently, and it's in a plastic bag. Even though I do wash it thoroughly, there was poop on the catheter at one point, so it's staying separated from the packages even though they are sealed. But that's also going to go in here, and we just know that the one on top in the Ziploc bag is going to be the one that we are currently using, and we have to change them out about every 2 weeks because I'm not sure why, but I'm assuming that it's because of how often you can blow up the catheter. You blow it up with air or water to keep it in the rectum. So the next thing, I'm not looking, so I don't know what's this. This is empty, and I always keep an empty container because this is the container that our saline comes in from the medical supply company that sends them, which is Adapt Health, covered by our insurance. Now, I keep an empty one here because this is a 500 ml bottle, but we only need 350 mils of solution, of saline. So I take out the saline that we don't need and put it in another bottle, and then I write open on it, which you'll see. So I'm just gonna put that down here. Yeah. So what is this? Oh, excuse me, that was in the way. Another bottle. This is the solution that I made that we are going to be using for tonight's treatment. So I'm going to leave that out, but I'll show you where I store everything, which is why I also keep an empty one for to shake up the solution. Here's an empty bottle. This one was what the hospital sent us home with at the Children's Hospital that had was this glycerin or was this no, this was saline. And then it has the measurements on the side, which is why I like to keep this bottle. So I'm putting all the bottles at the bottom, and you'll see why in a minute. That's gonna have to, you can see this doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to lay it down. Unfortunately, I'm going to take up a lot of space if I lay it down. But these drawers are pretty big, so we'll see. I might change that, and I'll let you know why if I do. So let's see. This says open. This is saline, and the reason I write open on it is because remember I told you I use the syringe to take out the saline I'm not going to use, and I put it in a separate bottle. So I write down which is the one that's open. Now this one is full. So this one is full. So I can use this one next. Now, you are supposed to refrigerate this, and it can stay refrigerated for a week, but because we use it so fast for how much solution we're using, it's not necessary for us to refrigerate it. But you should refrigerate it. We're just using it up so fast. One bottle goes so fast that we don't need to refrigerate it. So the next thing in here is this is a Fleet enema I'm not sure what to do with this Fleet enema. Probably just throw it away or maybe give it to my mom. I'm not sure. Because it's already been opened, I can't donate it. We haven't used it yet, but we were using these before we got set up with the reusable enema and a good recipe. So the colorectal surgeon told us to never use these again because they're not safe for long-term use, and my kid doesn't like, I'm not going to open it, but this plastic tip, my kid, it's covered in lubricant. My kid doesn't like the way the plastic tip feels, and it's ouch. Excuse me. So now here, this is soap. This is Castile soap. I didn't really need to label this, but I did it just for this video. All right. We buy a gallon of Castile soap and a gallon of glycerin on Amazon, and it's really inexpensive. So anybody who wants to buy that, let me know. Castile soap is a stimulant, so it causes peristalsis, which is the cramping. So that way it helps move the large intestine and the colon, whatever, to produce a bowel movement. So we have our personal recipe with soap, and the reason they added the Castile soap is, I need to ask why, but what the colorectal department at the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh said that they don't feel that it's safe to add more than 50 milliliters of glycerin to an enema. So we're at 35 mils, so they added the soap just so that they don't get any higher on the glycerin. I need to figure out why that is. I'll ask the colorectal surgeon. Then, what is this? This is my next point. The glycerin, I filled it up specifically for this video. This says glycerin, and I wrote it because it looks the same as saline. You can't tell the difference unless you touch it, and that's not sanitary. It's going in your rectum, but still in your body. So this is going to go on the empty bottle here. So I put this empty bottle on top of the other empty bottle that I laid down. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a bottle right here. This big bottle didn't fit when I closed the door, so I laid it down. And then I'm going to lay this one on top. It's not going to roll around because the drawer is going to be so full. So I have here the soap. I'll put the glycerin next to the soap. And then I have the saline next to the glycerin. And then they're all three stacked. You'll see why in a moment. I have madness. So I can technically donate these. Like I said, we aren't using them anymore, but they were our saving grace for quite a while. Because if you are impacted with fecal matter, that is a medical emergency if you let it go too long. And my kid once went 6 days. So here we are. I can donate these because they have not been opened. So I'm going to put all 4 of these in the box and figure out who wants them, or if I can give them to the hospital. I don't think they use these in the hospital. They have better stuff. But I can ask them, or I donate them, because 3 of these bottles are not open. And this one is, but I'm just going to put it in this box too. Put it over there and figure that out later. What else is in this box? Let's see. There's another box over there too. So I had this plastic piece. It was just from a random plastic packaging, but I was filling this full of water so that way I could suck up water and soap and like suck up water and soap and push it out in order to clean the syringes. So this is a cleaning tool, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I need a better container for cleaning. I just didn't want to waste so much plastic. So here's another enteral feeding bag, the bag that you put the solution in. So I'm going to put this on the bottom because I want this one to be on top, so I know that this is the one we are currently using and I can easily find it. Mostly my kid can easily find it because he's going to take charge of his health care. Here's another one of these. The medical supply company sends them because we're supposed to change them out every 2 weeks. And there's an Adapt Health app that I can order those from. Now, here's some more syringes. Sorry if I'm boring you with a half hour of this. I should have organized it and then showed you how I organized it. This is an empty Fleet container. More IV bags, which again, the one that we are currently using is going to be on top, but even if it's not, it would still be easy to tell which one's which because it's opened in a Ziploc bag. So then we have another syringe, which is going to go in the syringe container. I'm lining them up. And then what else is in here? Oh, okay. So I have a Sharpie. I'll just leave this on top because I use it to write the words on the containers. And I write them up here, but I also write them on the paper because I notice with the glycerin, when it gets glycerin on this, it wipes off the words. So just in case, this is also Lubey Lube. So I think I'm going to put the lube with because it fits perfectly right there. I guess I could put it with these, but these are already wet, so I don't want to get these wet even though they are in sealed packaging. So that's that box. And then this is the syringe that we're currently using, and this is a special syringe to hook up to the catheter. So do I have an open catheter? I do somewhere. I do right here. Hello, the one we're using. Don't worry, it's clean. So the way this works is you don't get the side that had poop on it. It's clean, don't worry. Still. So this is what connects to the IV bag, the G-tube bag, the bag with the liquid in it, whatever you want to call it. And then this has a special tip on it. You stick it in here. This just has the size of what we need, and you push it down. You have to push it down, otherwise it won't work. So you go like this to take out the air, or you can put water in it, and then this would fill with water and you just dump that out in your sink or your bathtub, whatever. But in order to fill it with air, let me see if I can show you. You fill this like this with nothing in it, and then you put it in the hole and you push down so it's connected, and you feel the tightness. You don't hear anything, but then you blow it up. This is just a catheter. We had water in here, which is why you see the liquid. It's been really humid here, but the reason I used water is they said if you use water, it's heavier, so it holds in the anus better. And like if you used air, it's not as heavy, so it's only for people who are pushing out their catheter on accident during treatment. So you fill it up, and then you let the air out by pulling this. So this is something that I can't lose because we don't get sent more of these. I mean, I guess I could order them, but we don't get sent more of these automatically. Like I can't order them on the app like I can all the other supplies. So I'm not touching the poopy part, and I'm going to put it, this is just silicone. What?
What are you doing?
I'm putting Ed's medical supplies away. You can come in later. Sorry, my older kid. He's 9, going into 4th grade in cyber school. Anyway, that's that, and I'm going to close this off. Okay, now this syringe we're using, I'm just going to stick it at the front, and we can easily tell because it's not in a package. Now, here comes the other portion of this. Excuse me, I'm moving over here to go get the other box because this box is basically toast. It's done. So I'm moving over here to get this other box. In this box is saline. So we get sent a box. Can you see? A box of this. Excuse me, you probably saw my address, but whatever. I live in the middle of nowhere. So, this is a box of saline. Now, the reason I set this up the way that I did was because saline, which is why there's so much plastic waste. Look, every saline comes in a plastic bag. Look how much plastic. And then you have all these plastic containers, and most of them I throw away. But you get saline, and the reason I wanted to do it this way, the saline comes like this, it's 500 mils. The reason I do it like this is because I wanted to put the saline on the bottom because it's the heaviest. Liquid is very heavy. So not all of it is going to fit in here. We will have a few extras. A whole entire case won't fit in here either. That's something that is going to be really annoying, is an entire case won't fit in here. But I can always store that under the sink because I'm also storing a gallon of glycerin and a gallon of the Castile soap. So what I had left fit in here. So that's like half a case, and then half a case will just be stored under. And then I have the invoice. I'll leave it up here because it gives, in case I need to call the medical supply company. So that's everything. We do have a file cabinet with all of our medical paperwork, but that is just going to sit in the corner of our bathroom. And yeah, there we are. That's how I store medical supplies for incontinence. And hopefully we will get a mace or an appendicostomy, and I'll show you the difference in supplies, but they will also be stored here. This was definitely a great purchase. The reason I put the saline at the bottom was because it's very heavy, and I have something similar to this for school supplies, and I noticed when these get too heavy, they're hard to open, so I didn't want it to crash. These are really lightweight, so you can see they easily open. This one is heavy, so it's slower, which is why that's at the bottom. But at any rate, there you are. This is how we store medical supplies for incontinence. And if you have any other tips on storage, or what other medical supplies we could use, let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Sorry it's been a long video, but I'll see you guys soon. Bye.